Hi everyone, this is Learning with Mr. Q. This video is part of a series on the FSA Mathematics Practice Test questions. Now, these questions can be found on the Florida Department of Education. If you just go ahead and do a Google search and type in FSA Math Practice Test questions for 4th grade, you should find these questions relatively easy. And so my goal is to just go over each question. We're going to do one at a time so that as you're working on it at home, and you're kind of stuck and you're not sure, well, how to answer this question. And so if you watch this video and look for the particular question that you're looking for, I would hopefully explain that to you and you'd be able to understand at that point how to get to that answer. All right, so let's look at number one. How many times greater is the value of 5 in 2,573 than the value of 5 in 6,459? So we are comparing the value of the digit 5 in the 4-digit numbers that we have here. So we got the 5 in the hundreds right there, and the 5 is in the tens. So both digits are the same, but they have different values because of the place value they're in, right? So this 5 right here is in the hundreds. So 500 versus this 5 is in the tens, so that's 50. Now, if you're comparing 500 versus 50, well, at this point in 4th grade, we understand that 500 is greater than 50, but the question is how many times greater, right? Now, when we see place values that are right next to each other, right? So we have the tens place value versus the hundreds. That's right next to each other when we're looking at a place value chart. We got the ones, the tens, and the hundreds, right? We got the ones, tens, and the hundreds. Well, the tens place value is 10 times greater than the ones if we're looking at the same digit. And the hundreds place value is 10 times greater than the tens. And we can say the same if we're looking at the thousands. Well, the thousands would be 10 times greater than the hundreds. So if we're looking at two digits that are right next to each other, right? So the hundreds is 10 times greater than the tens directly to its right, or the tens place value is 10 times greater than the ones, which is directly to its right. And so if we're comparing the 5, which is in the tens place right here, versus the 5 that's in the hundreds place, well, the hundreds place would be 10 times greater than the tens place. Right? So if I kind of drew a little model to help us see that, if I have 50, and if I want to go from 50 to 500, well, what I do is I just go ahead and write the number 50 over and over again. I'm repeating that until I get to 500. So right there I have 6, and if I go ahead and keep doing that, so that's 7, 8, 9, and then let me just put that other one right up here. That's 10. If I count by 50 10 times, that'll get me to 500, right? So if I put these two, that's 100, 200, 300, 400, and then these two 50s are 500, right? And so we know that the 5 in 2,573 is 10 times greater than the 5 in 6,459, right? And so that's kind of using a model. Another strategy that you probably have seen in my classroom or from your teacher is if you do 50 times 10, if we make the 50 10 times greater, well, 50 times 10 using basic facts, 5 times 1, that would be 5. And then we're going to add the 2 zeros next to that is 500, right? So again, we still have the same answer. We see that it is 10 times greater, okay? All right, I hope that helps everyone. Thank you so much for watching Learning with Mr. Q.